Okay, we're going to get going. Welcome, everybody. Great to see everybody here. It's been a number of weeks, and eventful things have happened, besides for Shavuos, what we had before. And I was zeicha to be in Eretz Yisrael 2 weeks ago, and it was a fantastic, amazing trip. And to experience being together with the people who live in Eretz Yisrael during such an event, when there's literally cruise missiles flying, ballistic missiles flying, and buildings are being blown up and destroyed, and to see the amazing nature of the people of Eretz Yisrael and of Klal Yisrael in general, and the togetherness, the mutual love and respect of everybody. It's really something unbelievable. And I think this is one of the highlights of the trip that I experienced. Shalom was asking about the trips. I'm just was wherever I went, is that I saw people who were very happy to there was no boundaries, no walls were up. Everywhere I went, people were, speaking to people. They were like, yeah, you guys, you need to do your part, we need to do our part. We were doing some volunteering, we were working on a farm, we were working with Hatzalah, we were packing vegetables for needy, doing all these kinds of helping. And people were very, very, warm and thankful. This is something that I was very surprised to see. I thought that we would be kind of like, they'd be patronizing us, like, yeah, fine, do what you need to do, like, what? But they were really, really happy to see us, and our support for them meant a lot to them. And that's something that I really took away, is that the support that we can offer in these difficult times to the people of Eretz Yisrael is something that's very much more powerful than I realized. And they appreciate hearing that we care about them over here. All you see on the news is the handful of protesters. You don't see the rest of the millions of people, and you don't see they don't hear from Jews from Chutz La'aretz who are supportive and care about them. So it really is a big lift for everybody. Anyway, that was one of my experiences over there. Many more experiences, and they'll come out more as we continue on, and on Shabbos also. But I want to just say thank you to Sandra Finkelstein for sponsoring the shir today. She's sponsoring in honor of Rosh Chodesh, which it still is now, right? For a few more minutes at least. I don't know how long.
Tomorrow.
Is it? There's Thursday and Friday. Yeah, today was the first day. Yeah, so it's still the first day of Rosh Chodesh, and for my bae.
My birthday and my brother's.
Oh, okay. So it's Sandra's birthday, and of course, Shalom is Esther Bas Saracho, and her twin brother, Nehemiah ben Saracho. They should all have health and protection for her boys, Yitzchak Reuven ben Shalom is Esther, and Avram Kalman ben Shalom is Esther. Only tremendous brachas to you and the whole family, Sandra. Thank you very much for the sponsorship. And of course, also a special thoughts go out to our friend Yaakov and Miriam, who's experienced some difficulty over the last little while. That it should all be a strengthening and a refuah hanefesh, refuah haguf for Yaakov ben Miriam, Rivka bas Leah, and all those who need a refuah shleima in Hashem. Okay, let's get going. So we are starting a new Torah today. There's a Torah that the L'Tayel B'Torah Soy and Torah Chaim have been learning already for a month or two. It's Torah Samech Aleph 61 in the first section of Likutei Moharan. In the BRI book, we're looking at page 194 in volume 7. Is yours 194?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And this is okay. So a little bit about this Torah. This Torah was said over on Shabbos Rosh Hashanah, 5568, which was 1807. And so this is close to the death of Rabbi Nachman, and it's widely considered in Breslov tradition to be kind of like the last will and testament of Rabbi Nachman. And there's a few ideas in this Torah that really are fundamental. We put the fun in fundamental, right? Fundamental to Yiddishkeit, but to Chassidus and to really being a follower of Rabbi Nachman. There's some absolutely important things over here. So Rabbi Chaim says over here, the main themes of this lesson are emunas chachamim, that's faith in the sages and tzaddikim; mishpat, which is judgment and deriving true laws; rabbinical ordination and the transmission of wisdom to worthy recipients, worthy rabbis; and then on the other side, the evil caused by giving authority and ordination to those who shouldn't have it. The concept of astronomy and astrology, together with what is called over here the Sod HaIbur, is the Hebrew, which they call in English, just because we need a translation from Sod HaIbur. So the English is the mystery of intercalation. Oh, now we know what that means, right? Yeah. We'll speak about it when we get to it. Eitza Shlema, perfect counsel, versus foolish advice, which we'll understand. These are all amazing, amazing topics, by the way. Machlekes, which is arguments, disagreements, but it's going to be in the opposite way of what we usually think of it, and the way it relates to Sefarim, Torah books. Hamtakas Adinim, that means mitigating judgments and constrictions, and traveling to the Tzaddikim for Rosh Hashanah, as well as Simcha, Ahava, and Achdus, joy, love, and togetherness, oneness. These are kind of the main points of this. So there's a lot of history involved over here. I'll just say, I'll save it for when we get there, because just to know that every one of these steps is going to be something that's deep. It's kind of hard to give this stuff over, but we're gonna do our best, like we usually do. Together, we'll bring it out in hopefully a good way. Okay, so as usual, Rabbi Nachman starts this off with a quote. This time, it's from the Zohar HaKadosh, from the Idra Rabbah, which is a special section of the Zohar HaKadosh where it's one of the Idra Rabbah and the Idra Zuta are times when Reb Shimon brought down some of the biggest and most important aspects of Kabbalah. It's these two sections of the Zohar HaKadosh called Idra Rabbah and Idra Zuta. So this is from the Idra Rabbah. And there's a very, very famous line in it, but we're gonna go over it a little bit quickly, because it's going to be explained at the very end, after we've spent time understanding all of the concepts. So it starts like this: Chadi Rabbi Shimon v'amar, that Rabbi Shimon was happy, or he rejoiced, and he said, Hashem shamati shim'acha yaresi. Hashem, I heard your message and I feared. This is a pasuk from Habakkuk, and incidentally, if you want to hear a really, really amazing song, go to Yishai Ribo's album called Elif Tafshin Ayin Pei, I think it is, Ayin Hey, one of these years, and there's a song, Hashem Shamati B'Shemacha, and it has these words, and it's mamish, a beautiful, unbelievable song. It's quoted happens to be, the Sfardim say it out loud, right in Rosh Hashanah, that paragraph that leads up to the beginning of Musaf. By Ashkenazim, usually the Chazan just says it quietly to himself, right? But by the Sfardim, they say it out loud in an incredibly beautiful way. So this song by Yishai Ribo, I'm plugging Yishai Ribo here, guys. It's an advertisement. But it has like 3 or 4 different Sfardic Chazanim who are saying over these different sections of this. And it's gorgeous, it's beautiful. So, Yishai Ribo, Elul, Tafshinayan Hey or Pei or Te, Tafshinayan Hey or, I don't know what it is, but you'll find it. Okay. Hashem Shivach Yaresi, so I feared. Amar, so Rabbi Shimon said, Hasam Yos Havilim Over there, you were right to fear, But he continues on to say, the rest is not quoted in the Hebrew of Likutei Moharan, but the English brings it. And there you're right to fear. However, but anan b'chavivusa talya milsa. But we, our whole, the entire thing is dependent on love. By us, we are people of love. This is what Reb Shimon said. It was right to fear over there in that situation, but anan b'chavivusa talya milsa. So this is something that we always say. He said to the Chevraya Kedisha. He said to his holy followers, all the people that were assembled together at the Idr Rabbah. Happens to be also that he had, he had one of the main rabbis on his right, and his son was on his left, and they were forming this aspect of the center, the right and the left, and from this they were able to draw down some of the deepest secrets. We're going to speak about this whole situation of Idr Rabbah at the very end when he explains this. But for now, we're going to kind of leave it aside. So he quotes the rest of it, this other aspect of it in English over here. Let's hear it. Rabbi Shimon opened the lesson and said, "He who goes around gossiping reveals secrets, but a trustworthy spirit conceals the matter." Okay? He who goes around gossiping, this is someone whose spirit is unsettled and who is untrustworthy, for his is not a settled spirit. So someone whose spirit is not settled, they go around and they gossip and they're not settled. So they're going around and gossiping. This is one aspect. But someone whose spirit is settled, of him it is written, but a trustworthy spirit conceals the matter. Okay? That's the beginning part that we're going to get back to at the end. So let's dig right in. Page 194. Or on some it might be 196. It starts with Al Yedei Emunas Chachomim Yicholin Lahoitzi Mishpatenu Laor. Through Emunas Chachamim, faith in the sages, we are able to bring out our mishpat to light. So mishpat we're not going to translate yet. Well, let's translate it, but we're not going to, while we're saying the Torah, we're not going to translate it necessarily. Mishpat means judgment or law, right? It means judgment or law, really. That's the main thing that it means. And a mishpat is something that's like a decision, sort of, okay? Mishpat. So, through having emunas chachamim, faith in the sages, we are able to bring out our mishpat to light. Okay, mishpat hu amudadem tza'isa. We're going to read this first paragraph and then go back and explain, okay? Because mishpat is, this aspect of judgment or law, is the center pillar, hainu b'chinas derech hamamutza, which is the middle path. Center pillar, middle path. She'eino noite liyamin u'lesmol. It doesn't lean towards the right or the left. V'zeh zoichin al yedei emunas chachamim. And this we merit to attain through emunas chachamim, through faith in the sages. Shu b'chinas, like the pasuk says in the Torah, lo tasur min hadavar asher yagidu lecha yamin u'smol. Do not turn away or deviate from that which they will tell you, right or left. Right? This is a famous pasuk in the Torah. And Rashi famously says over there, he says that even if they tell you that right is left and left is right, listen to them. Right? Okay? Don't worry, we're going to get deep into this. But we got to get the surface level first. V'alkein, ayedei zeh yoitzi hamishpat barer. Through this, our mishpat will come out, our judgment or law will come out clear. Kanal, as we said, bevechinas mishpatei emes, which is going to be something called mishpatei emes, true judgments, true mishpatim. Okay. So, in a couple paragraphs from now, we're going to get to discuss this aspect of something that's called moisres, which means excrement, like the stuff that we expel from our body. And it also means things that are extraneous, things that are not necessary, right? And this is going to be sort of the antithesis to the middle path, to Emunus Chachamim, is going to be this aspect of excrement and extraneous things. Okay? With that in mind, I want to go back now and talk about what we just said. So, Ben Nachman is telling us something that's very big over here, that through Emunus Chachamim. So first of all, what is Emunus Chachamim? What does it mean? So first of all, the idea of Emunah, right? Emunah means, something that we always like to say over here, that Emunah comes from the word of being an artisan, an expert in something, an omen or an uman, right? Someone who has an ability so intrinsically part of themselves that they can just do it. They can paint amazing paintings, but there's no giving over information how to do it. It's not something that you can just tell someone how to do it. Here, just use these colors, these brushes, here's the canvas, go ahead, just paint it. It's not going to happen. But it's something that's part of them. It's just they can just do it, right? Like what other example do we use all the time? Yeah, musician is a good example. When it's just in them, you can just do it. You can just do it, right? So riding a bike is a good example. When you know how to ride a bike, you just know how to do it. And can you give that information over to anybody? Right? Like I always like to say, you could have two physicists who are geniuses in physics, and one could write a whole treatise on how to ride a bike and the balancing and the equations and everything and the speed and everything that's necessary to make the bike ride, right? And when the second physicist gets on the bike, he's gonna fall flat on his face and break his thick glasses, right? Why? Because you can't teach it. You just it's something that's part of you. So when we talk about emunah, at least in our circles, we like to say that emunah isn't just, I heard something, I liked it, so I'm doing it. It's not an intellectual decision. Many people think that emunah having emunah means that I believe that God exists. That's not emunah at all. By us, emunah is when it becomes part of me. And this is my life. This is how I live now, right? It's just, it's the way my body and my soul react in the world. That's what emunah is. Chachamim are, sages, tzaddikim, rabbanim, some aspect of these types of things. So, there's do you ever have this thing? You ever hear about this where someone has a question in halacha that they have to ask, and they're like, they have a certain rabbi, but they're like, I'm not going to ask my rabbi, because if I ask my rabbi, I think he's going to tell me to do it, right? So I'm like, who's that rabbi in the city who allows people to do this, right? And then they call that rabbi, right? So what does that mean? That means that there's no, this is not existing. This idea, I'm not living with emunah in my, so really, I want to say like this, because it's a complicated Torah, and there's going to be lots of things that line up, but this Torah, Nachman Fried said it like this, it's a good way to say it. This Torah is all about alignment. It's all about aligning ourselves in the right way. And you see, from the beginning, we're talking about center versus right and left, alignment. But when I'm aligning myself in the center versus right or left, which we haven't explained yet, I know, right? But I'm underneath, or standing behind me, is a tzaddik, a Talmidei Chacham, right? Who is my Amuna Dem Sissa, who is giving me this guidance, who I have full emunah in. And I have the temptation, this is the problem, I have the temptation to go right or left, right? Like the guy I'm talking about right now, who wants to ask the question, right? But he won't ask his rabbi, he wants to ask the rabbi who he knows is going to allow it, right? Right? There's a funny situation, it's not that funny, but most people hold that you can't kasher a dishwasher, right? Most people hold you can't kasher a dishwasher. If you have a treif dishwasher, you can't kasher it, right? But there's one rabbi in the city. I'm talking about the more Haredi world, right? There's one rabbi in the city, big rabbi, everybody is, and he allows people to. He has this thing where he allows people to kasher a dishwasher, right? So I remember when I first moved to the city, I was newly married, and I moved into a place, and this question came up: what can we do about a dishwasher? And people were like, wait, you got to ask this rabbi. Go ask this rabbi. Don't ask anyone else. Ask this rabbi, because this rabbi lets you do this, right? Okay, maybe in this case it's not so bad. But why am I doing that? I'm not doing that because I'm centered, and I want to receive wisdom. I want to receive the transmission coming from, God to Moshe Rabbeinu, to Reb Shimon, to all the tzaddikim, to the Baal Shem Tov, to the Arizal, to everything, and downtown to my rabbi who was above me. I want to just receive what's supposed to be. Right? This is not that at all. This is like, I have all of these things pulling me to one side. I don't want to spend the money on a new dishwasher. I want to save the money, right? And I want to be able to I don't know, it's probably mostly money, right? I want to have a dishwasher. I don't want to have to do the work of washing dishes, right? So I have all these things that are pulling me. Now I want to go and ask someone else, to the extent that I'm abandoning my usual source of wisdom because I want this, right? And this is a very nice story. There are much worse things that people do, of course, in this realm. What do we have pulling us right and left? The beginning of this Torah is a Avodah Chachamim and about being centered and not going to the right and left. So I want to point something out that one of the things we said over here is the Reb Nachman listed two things. That mishpat is called the amuda de emtzeisa. That means the center pillar. Then right away he says, which is haynu bechinas derech hamemutza, the middle path. So one of the ways that I've been understanding this, and we'll see, I have to give the caveat that we always give, that when we're trying to understand Rabbi Nachman, I'm telling you the way that I'm seeing it, the way that Rabbi Nachman is speaking to me. I'm not saying this is what he said. This is what he meant exactly. Rabbi Nachman was way, 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 way above us all. This is the way that I'm seeing it over here. If you don't like it, that's completely fine. You can take it up with management. That's me. Okay? But if we get further into the Torah and we change our mind, we're open to this. I'm happy to be wrong, but this is the way we're starting.
Your case supports you.
Okay, good. This is the way we're starting off. We're making a mahalach in the Torah. We're making a way, a pathway. This Torah. So amud demtzeisa, an amud, a pillar. What is it? It's a few things that is awesome. First of all, it's something that is very strong and doesn't move. Right? It's stationary. It's strong. It's powerful. It holds up an entire building, a pillar. Right? Not only that, it also connects the bottom to the top. It's a connector. So it's a connector, and it is a strong source of support. Right? This is what a pillar is, right? So in regards to Avodah Chachamim, I want to say that the fact that we're calling it the Amudah De'emtzeisa is because Avodah Chachamim represents kind of like our security. It's like our home base. It's like the place we always can go back to be secure, to be grounded, to be at home. When we don't know what to do. This is a lot of what this Torah is about. When we don't know what to do, we're confused. And our own lives, our own olam hazeh, our own gashmias, our own midas that are all over the place are pulling us right and left all over the place. And we don't know what to do. Right? The Amudas Chachamim is something that can give us clarity. It can be like, stop it. Go like this. Just go in this way. This is the path for you. Right? This and it's like so it's supportive, it's secure, it's something, right? And so I view it as like Amudas Chachamim is our whole tradition. It's the entire Masorah of Judaism, comes through all the Chachamim. Do you know this? That we have from the time of Moshe Rabbeinu and before. our Torah is so powerful that we know, we have the list of every single person in the chain of transmission of the Torah from Moshe Rabbeinu to us here now. We have the whole thing, right? We know who they all were, and this represents a downloading of wisdom from Hashem to us, not only through history, even now, when we go about living our lives in the right way, with Talmidei Chachomim and through Torah, we are able to draw onto ourselves a certain aspect of wisdom, which is what this Torah is all about. We're going to see much later on. That's why the pillar also is a connector from above to below. Talmidei Chachomim connects us to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and enables us to draw down the wisdom that we need now into our lives. Because, I don't know about you guys, but do you ever have times when you don't know what to do and you're going crazy? Which way should I go? What should I do? Right? And your decision making is very difficult, especially if you're in the camp of the overthinkers. Right? You're gonna be driving yourself crazy. What's gonna be? And Emunah Chacham helps us with this. Next, so that's Emunah Dem Tzisa. Derech HaMemutza, I want to say, once we have that home base, that security, now we're moving. We're moving through life. We're on the derech, we're on a pathway. And as we're going through life now, we're not just sort of in that place of security. Now we have to also make sure that on our path that we're going in the middle, that we're not allowing ourselves to be pulled to the right and pulled to the left and going in all these crazy places, right? So we have the home base of Emunah Chachamim, which helps to guide us on our journey through life as we go. That's one aspect. Let's talk about the word mishpat. Okay, guys, mishpat. We said it means judgment. It means law. Sentence? Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. So sentence. It's the same in English and Hebrew, right? I'm saying like.
A sentence, like going through.
Yeah. So like it's
a sentence.
It's the same thing. What? Discernment. There's an aspect of discernment for sure. So put these things together. Judgment, law, sentence, right? All these things, they're all from the word mishpat. What's a shofet? A judge, right? Who makes a mishpat is a shofet, is a judge, right? So I love to think about it in this way, right? What are the mishpatim that we have to make over here? He starts off by saying, through having Emunah Chachamim, we're going to be able to bring out our mishpat to light. To light. That means it was hidden, it was in darkness, it was wherever it was. Right? And then we said that this is what mishpat is. Mishpat is the Emunah Dem Tzisa. That it doesn't go right or left. And then we said through this, we're going to be able to not go right or left, like the pasuk says. Then we're going to have this aspect of mishpatei emes, true judgment. And we're going to see something. I'll give you a hint, or a preview. The next thing is going to say about the word mishpat is that we have to derive from everything that we're involved in, we're going to see, because it's a big lesson, mishpatei hanhagos, which means judgments or laws of the way I govern myself. It has to come out like this, right? So guys, I want to say it like this. This is the way I see this. Rabbi Nachman's telling us that we all have to be a shofet. We all have to be a judge. This we do all the time. Constantly. We're going through our lives and we are faced with situations and we have to be a shofet. What am I going to do over here? What should I do? Should I go this way? Should I go that way? We haven't talked about really what's this way and that way yet, but we'll get to it, right? But we have to decide. We have to make a decision. Every time we have to make a decision in our lives, what am I going to do? What's going to be my mishpatei hanhagos? How am I going to govern myself? How am I going to live my life? Who do I want to be? Right? Who do I want to be? I have to make a mishpat. I'm a judge. I'm a shofet. I have to make a decision, and the decision is a mishpat. I think we could, for the most part, we could take out the word mishpat and say decision. I'm faced with a decision. What am I going to do? That's what we're talking about over here. Anybody struggling with these things? Making decisions? It's hard. I've heard from a few people very, very recently. this, What should I do? Should I go? Should I not go? Should I, I spoke to someone, not the someone that some of you are thinking of right now who we know, but I speak to someone who's like a pretty long time recovered addict. And we're talking about at some point in this person's life, they experienced something and they said, I don't want to live my life like this anymore. This is not the way that I want to live my life. And they made a decision at that point. And they said, no, I'm done with this. And this person for years and years and years is a gem. Mamish, an amazing gem. And but that's a decision that they had to make, because you know what they were doing? So let's dive into right and left for a second over here. So right and left. On the right side, we have, in the series, we have Chachma and Bina, right? Chachma is flow, Bina is restraint. Then a little bit lower we have Chesed and Gevura, which also, Chesed is a flow. It's a flow. Everything flows. Everything that's good, everything that feels good, flows. On the other side, we have Gevura, which is restraint, holding back, right? So pulling to the right and left from this view, there's a lot different ways to understand it also. But in my life as a normal person, right? So I get pulled in these directions. A person gets pulled, right? I want to relax. I want to, you know what I want to do? I want to go, here, I'll tell you about me. So I grew up when I was a teenager. I had a family membership at a golf course in Winnipeg. And I used to golf all the time. And I loved golfing, and I got very good at golfing, right? I loved it. I used to be quite good. I was hitting in the 80s, that kind of, not fantastic, but pretty good. And I golfed, and I loved it, and I loved it, and I loved it. So fast forward now, however many, 35 years later, right? And I don't really golf anymore. And one of the reasons is because, I would love to go out and golf and, enjoy the beautiful scenery and the weather and everything. And, people like to drink beer when they're golfing. People like to smoke cigars. I don't smoke cigars, I can't. My lungs can't take it. But yeah, okay, I'd like to do that. But you know what? It takes like 4 hours to golf a full game. I cannot give in to 4 hours of golf. I could. I have decided, I've made a judgment that I cannot allow myself to spend 4 hours golfing. I just can't do it. I don't think it's the right thing for me to spend my time on. Right? So I haven't golfed in, I don't know, maybe once every 2 years. If there's a charity thing, I'll go and do it. But what did I do? I have a pull to the right. The right is the pull of Chesed, whereas, you know what, you love it. You're going to enjoy it. And you'll walk outside, it's going to be recreational, fantastic, and have a beer, have a this, have a that, and the whole thing. It's all pulled to the right. Chesed, 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 Chesed. Yeah? That's where I would be pulled. And that's a tremendous pull. On the other hand, there's the Gevura, which balances that. And if we have that balancing act between the two things, we can come out, hopefully, in the middle. And having the inyan of Emunas Chachamim is what enables us to be able to be in that realm. Right? Like I said, Emunas Chachamim is our entire Masorah. The whole Talmud is Emunas Chachamim. All of Halacha is Emunas Chachamim. We all live with this, even like subconsciously. You keep Shabbos, keep Kashrus, you know what you're doing? You're none of it is clearly exactly written in the Torah the way we do it. You are living the Masorah, the tradition that comes down from all of our Chachamim. That is living according to the Chachamim. So with the guidance of all of Torah Sheba'al Peh, all of the oral Torah, all of the written Torah, and the way that it all comes down to us, this is living a valuable and meaningful existence, right? Or valuable and meaningful. Or I can go and waste 4 hours golfing. I'm so sorry, people golf, I know, and now I'm probably being mean to them. I feel bad. I need some example. What should I do? Right? But I can't do it. 4 hours, it's too much. It's too much. I need to do other valuable things, right? So I know we're tangentiifying a little bit over here, but one of the aspects of Emunah Chachamim is this, that when we live according to the Chachamim, according to Torah, according to the Masorah that we have, so if we do that, that means that everything that we're doing has value. Everything that we're doing is valuable. And it's not wasteful, right? Everything we're doing is valuable. So maybe instead of going and spending 4 hours golfing, right? So maybe I would have, instead of that, I would have done some learning. I would have maybe spoken to some people to offer some chesed in that way, right? Maybe I would have helped my wife out. Maybe I would have davened. I don't know. Good things. 4 hours, that's a lot of time. You could do a ton of good things, right? So what did I do? I went right, and now I'm doing things that are not valuable, in my opinion. So this connects us to one of the things we spoke about before, which is the concept of moisres, which means excrement, which means extraneous things. So we're going to get deep into it, no pun intended, probably in the next class. But this 4 hours of golf is extraneous. It's extra. It's not necessary. And it's not the end of the world. It's not evil. But you know what? I missed out on 4 hours of value, of something that I'm taking with me for the rest of my life. Something that I'm taking with me to Olam Haba. Something of value. That's where Emunah Chachamim is going to lead me. The other way, golfing for 4 hours, is leading me to moisres. Things that are extra, unnecessary things that that are not valuable. Right? Yeah, people are going to argue, I know. What if I golf? And I've seen people do this, by the way, and they bring a sefer with them. They learn Mishnayos while they're golfing. I'm like, okay, you're getting somewhere. Not bad, pretty good. What if it's a charity golf tournament? So the whole thing is for chesed, and I'm bringing my Mishnayos with me, and I'm learning as we're going. Okay, I hear it. You're starting to win me over, right? It's becoming valuable.
Or what if it's what you can do with your mother, because it's the only thing that
Okay.
you do together.
No, that is a great point. That's a good point. What if it's you have a mother who you need to honor, and this is something that she does.
The only thing that you
A good solution might be 9 holes. That's it.
Yeah.
half. I hear. So here, this is a problem. This is getting pulled away to extraneous things that are not valuable. Moisres, and we're going to see this is going to be huge in this Torah. This inyan of moisres compared to value. So that's a little example about what we could mean by being pulled to the right. Whereas Emunah Chachamim, which means embracing the channel of wisdom and tradition that puts me into the place that I am right now, being aligned and downloading that into my life, right? I'm getting pulled to the right. What about getting pulled to the left? What could it be? Could be numerous things, but on the left-hand side we have restraint and strength and restraint. So you can use it to balance chesed, but it can also be too powerful on the left side, and you can become a person who is too hard on themselves and on other people, who is controlling of other people, right? So the ultimate gevura is to use that strength to exert control over people who you have no right to, right? So it comes out maybe in ways of anger. A person who needs to be in control, that's the person who gets anger when things don't go their way, right? They lose it, and they go into kas, to incredible anger and yelling at people, and right? Why? Because I have a problem. I have a midah that needs to be worked on, and that is that I must be in control, and things must be the way that I want them to. And if they don't go that way, you're going to hear about it, right? And so what's going to happen? That person is going to end up being, first of all, too focused on these things that they need to go their way, and they're going to spend, instead of 4 hours golfing, they're going to spend 4 hours making sure that everything is exactly like this, and making sure that everybody else who's doing it wrong is doing it right, whatever. And then they're going to be spending hours fighting, and then making up from those fights and having to talk and work things through, right? It's all, once again, this we don't need. This is not good. This is not valuable, right? Too much on the left can also can be the same thing. This is just one way to look at how we can have right and left. Now you can apply it to everything that we experience in our lives. Every part of our day. We get pulled to taivas, physical desires. We get pulled to things that shut us off, like the scrolling, to shut off your brain, right? And to become a zombie, so you don't have to actually have the strength to deal with your own life. It's all going to the side, right? And we're pulled always to the right and left. Every decision we make, we're pulled either one way or the other. And we on our own are not holding to be able to make that decision right. Without our alignment from God to Moshe Rabbeinu, to every rabbi, to our own source of wisdom, our rabbis and our teachers that are in that path with us. That is what's going to keep us with the ability to live in this way, right? Imagine all of the classes that we learned together from the Torah of Rabbi Nachman. How many different decisions we have made in our lives because of the amazing Torah that we have. Where have we decided to put our energy? Where have we decided to remove ourselves from? We've made so many decisions based on the Torah that we learn, and I know I'm looking at every person that's involved here right now, online and offline, in person. I've seen make incredible growth and incredible decision making that is very different than it would have been, many years ago. Because why? We're all growing. We're all learning. We're all aligned and downloading this wisdom into us. Because we have this. And if we don't have it, it's gone. And we're going to be all over the place. Right? Oh, so much to say. Where are we holding here? Okay, we're all just about out of time. Or not quite. Okay, so let's go on a little bit. I'm sure there's more to say on this part, but we'll go on. Let's just say like this. We saw so far lahoitzi mishpateinu la'or, to bring our mishpat into light. We had that from this we're going to have our mishpat is going to be barer, clear, and it's going to be mishpatei emes, right? True mishpatim, true laws, true judgments, right? So coming from we have two places where it's going to come to, or three places. Barer, which means clear, and emes, which means truth. So what's on the other side of that? Is darkness. The other side of light is darkness. The other side of clarity is confusion. And the other side of truth is sheker, is lies, falsehood, right? So just think about it for a second. This could get scary, and this could get very real if you think about it. I make decisions from a place of darkness sometimes. Sometimes I make decisions that put me into a place of darkness. That I want to go to a place of darkness. Sometimes I make decisions that from a place of a lack of clarity and that I don't even want to know. So I go back into that place of non-clarity on purpose. Right? What about the decisions, the mishpat of a shakra, of a liar? Right? Someone who if you're not a person of truth, you're in trouble. We talked about this a lot also. But a person who lies has to constantly make new lies in order to keep their lies going. Right? It must be exhausting. Just tell the truth. Take it. Be strong. It's got to be easier. Right? But a person like this, a person who's in a place like this, will make decisions that are based on lies that bring them more into lies, more and more into lies. This is where we can find ourselves moving. Do we want to be in a place of darkness, in a place of confusion, in a place of lies, or do we want to be able to align ourselves in this way and to put ourselves in a place where we're going to go for emes? We're going for clarity, light, and truth. It sounds crazy. Whatever, I can't say the actual situations, but I've seen just recently a number of people who are so buried in lies, and not just certain people, but others also, so buried in lies and they just keep going. They just keep going with the lies because, in a sense, it's easier for them to make that decision, to live in a place of lies and falsehood. Hashem Yishmor, right? So this is where we don't want to be. Where we do want to be is light, clarity, and truth. This is what Emunah Chacham is going to give us. It's going to help us attain, right? This is what we want. Okay, page 198. Let's hear what's going to be the next big secret over here. This is important. I know. How do we do this? What does this mean? Kikol halimudim sha'adam loimed. All of the learning that a person learns. I'm going to translate this literally. Tzarich sheyakabel v'yotzei mehem mishpatei emes. A person has to accept, receive, and bring out from them true judgments. That it should not become a mishpat me'ukal, a distorted judgment, a crooked judgment. Right? So listen to this one more time, the next part. Dahainu, sheyikabel ve'yilmad mikol halimudim shaloimed mishpatei hanagas. What does that mean? How do we do that? That we should accept or receive and learn from all the learning that we learn. You heard me right? Mishpatei hanhagas. Judgments of behavior, of conduct. How am I going to live? How am I going to behave? Right? So what sticks out over here? Two things stick out over here for me very strongly. First of all, I keep saying the word, the shorish of limud, of learning, over and over again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in 2 sentences. This word. What do you mean all the limudim shadam loimed? Why didn't you tell me, if you're talking about learning Torah, tell me, Hainu, kichol haTorah shadam loimed. Tzarich sheyakabel v'yotzei mehem, you have to receive and you have to do the same thing. Right? Hainu, sheyakabel v'yilmad mikol haTorah shaloimed. He doesn't say that. He's using this word limudim. All of the, I'll translate it in this way and it'll start to take shape probably the way that I'm thinking about it. From all the learning experiences. That's what limudim is. All of the opportunities to learn. All of the learning experiences. Opportunities to learn. All of the opportunities that a person has to learn. He has to accept, receive, and bring out from them true judgment. Right? So, what do you think it means? All of the limudim. Opportunities to learn. I know you guys already know this stuff. You guys are all totally on board with this kind of thing, for sure, already. But it's a big chiddush.
Our experiences.
Yeah.
What we learn from you.
Life experiences.
Yeah.
Life experiences, right? So, obviously, the Torah is one thing, and the Torah that we learn from Rabbi Nachman is one thing for sure. But you know, every time I'm in a situation, I have, and especially a situation to make a decision, this is an experience. This is going to be a learning experience. Right? I was just on this crazy journey in Israel, going to these amazing places. First of all, then having to be in bomb shelters and having missiles fired. Then I had to go on a boat to Cyprus, and then from there I did all these things, whatever. I jumped in the ocean there, by the way. And then Frankfurt and London, England, and then back to over here to then through Iceland to Toronto, like a whole mamish journey, right? We're on a journey. We're on many stops, and every one of these stops that we're on, we have an opportunity to learn.
42.
Every single experience that we have, we can learn from. Not only that, we always like to say over here, right? There's no such thing as failure. What's a failure? It's just what?
To learn.
Just a learning experience. It's an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity to learn, a learning experience. It's one of our limudim, right? It's a place for us to learn. So to be able to be makabel from all of these experiences, and also from the Torah, to be a makabel. So we'll finish with this concept of makabel, and hopefully that'll be a marker for us to keep going. So what does it mean to be a makabel? This is really the key to everything. We already said it numerous times. But if I am living my life where everything has to be according to me, you know, and I'm going to decide who I ask my questions to, because I want to lead them in the way that I'm going to get the answer that I want. Who's driving the wagon? Right? I'm driving the wagon. And you know what the problem is? I don't know where I'm going. So I'm going to go to the right when I'm not supposed to. I'm going to go to the left when I'm not supposed to. Because I don't know what I'm doing. Why? Because I'm not makabel. I'm not receiving. I am the mashbiah. I'm driving the wagon. Right? So the first, this word I think is a huge key over here. A person has to put themselves into the place of being a makabel. I am a receiver. I'm drawing down wisdom through this channel of Masorah, through my Amunas Chachamim, through all of the tzaddikim, and through everything down to the last, to my own personal mashpiyim. I want to be makabel. And it's not about who's the rabbi, who's not the rabbi, who do I trust, my nature is to be makabel from Hashem. And I'm going to put myself in the situation where I can best be makabel from Hashem. And that is through, people are often bothered when we're learning this concept. But I don't like this rabbi, or this rabbi doesn't know what he's doing. Or, this rabbi, how do I know who to trust, whatever. Okay, I hear. One thing we have is, historically speaking, we have, in history, all the Chachamim are validated. We have the Gemara. The Gemara is like all of the sages, right? It's clear. Everything, basically down to the most recent previous generation. After someone passes away, we know who they were. But during the time of their lives, we don't really exactly know who we connect to and who's the right people, necessarily, right? But there is a way to find out if you have the right person to connect to, right? And one of them is does that person have Amunas Chachamim, or are they a person of Moisris? If that person has Amunas Chachamim, then what's happening? He's lining up in that chain. He is a person with Amunas Chachamim, and he's following his person who is Amunas Chachamim, and so on and so forth. We're all downloading the same thing down to us. Every rabbi needs a rabbi, but they need Amunas Chachamim, and they need not to be involved in extraneous moisturistic things. This is how we can try to be sure that we're on the right track over here, right? But every one of those people is a makabel, is a receiver in this thing. And just like you probably know, sometimes every person, the next thing he's going to say is this, that we have to bring out our mishpatei hanagas, which is our judgments of decisions and how we're going to govern ourselves. This is a leap ahead, but he's going to say, Hein la'atzma, to the person themselves, V'hein la'acherim shemisnagin lafi daitai, and to those who look to me for hanhaga, for how to behave and how to do. And everyone probably knows that whatever place you are, you receive from someone who's above you, and you give to someone who's below you. Right? Are we part of the alignment? Are we a link in this chain or not? That's what we're talking about over here. Right? And it can only be if I'm trying to drive the wagon, like I'm saying, this is my new term, by the way. If I'm trying to drive the wagon, and I'm the mashpia, corresponding to those who are above me, I'm done for. If I look to the words of the Gemara and I say, they don't know what they're talking about. Yeah, that was, no. I'm smarter. We have modern technology. We know better than they do. Mockery and everything. You're done for. Forget it. You're driving the wagon the wrong way for sure. You're getting lost. Right? So the first thing is to be makabel. We're really late over here. But sometimes you can learn something in Torah, and the attitude with which you go into it totally changes everything. You could go, you learn Torah, you learn Gemara. What do? You ask so many questions. But if you're asking questions because it's from a place of mockery, or from a place of of this type of negative view of our Talmidei Chachomim, of Chazal, right? So you're done for. But if you're going in and you're asking the questions because you want to understand the truth, you're in a different place. Oh, we're right there right now. Okay, we have to hold it here because Ma'ariv is now. I think I'm probably late. Yeah, Ma'ariv is right now. Thank you, everybody. You got something, Shalom?